Hello and welcome to another Cause Bad Guys Tactical Breakdown. In today's breakdown, we are going to go over the Joker, or more specifically, the Jerad Leto depiction of the Joker from the Suicide Squad movie. So I actually really like this depiction. I really like all the depictions of the Joker because the Joker is such a deep character. He has so many different facets. And I think the Suicide Squad Joker, the one Jerad Leto did, is all about his obsession that he has with Harley Quinn. I think it's great. It shows how unhealthy that relationship really is. And then it also shows how obsessive he actually is with her. Great depiction, really good. Shows how psychotically enraged he can get when he doesn't have the things that he wants, and it's pretty good. So let's go ahead and get right on into his character card. So his character card is Nobody Knows His Name, just like Bane, just like some other of the really awesome bad guys. His alias is going to be Joker, Jerad Leto. He is rank leader, and his affiliate is for the Joker crew. So this guy obviously is the leader for the Joker crew. He currently isn't able to be taken in any other teams or anything like that. So let's go ahead and go on to his weapons. So he has a baton, which is going to be double stun. It is a close combat weapon, so no rate of fire or ammo, and its special rule is going to be handy, which is going to be being able to re-roll failed misses in close combat. Really, really awesome. I actually really like this weapon on him. He is the only standard size Joker model that does 2 damage when he hits somebody with a single attack. So that's already a +1 in my book for this guy. His second weapon is going to be the pink gun, which is a blood and a stun. It's rate of fire 3, which is up there with any of the really good handguns. And it has 2 ammo, which is pretty standard. It is a firearm with short range and accurate. So firearm is the standard gun, damages on a 2+, can be changed by bulletproof vests, stuff like that. And then is short range, so 20 centimeters. And accurate, which is awesome. This is going to be a -1 modifier for any of the acrobats out there that try to dodge this, or somebody with the dodge special rule. So say somebody has movement 3 and they're trying to dodge these bullets. Instead of being able to dodge on a 3 or less, they dodge on a 2 or less, which makes it pretty hard to dodge the pink gun. Love this weapon as well. This is another bonus, I think, for this Joker. So let's go ahead and go on to his stats. So his stats are going to be essentially the exact same as any of the other Jokers out there outside of the Titan Joker, which is him all roided out, and then the Frank Miller Joker, which is low-end points, and because of the low points, he suffers a little bit in his stat line. The other, I think there's 4 different Jokers now, and they all have the same stat line. So let's go ahead and go over that. So he starts out with willpower 8, which is going to be really, really high. That's awesome. Really good leaders are going to be willpower 8. Means that they have all the counters they need to be able to do all the things they want during the turn. Willpower 8, this guy is not going to let you down with not being able to do stuff. His next stat is going to be strength. So strength 4+. 4+ is pretty standard for any high-end guy. As soon as you start paying a ton of points, usually strength 4 is going to be there for you. With how many points this guy is, strength 4 is probably his weakest stat, one of his weakest stats, but strength 4 is really, really good. I like it on him. He's not supposed to be on the same strength level as Batman or Bane, so I totally get why he's strength 4, and I really like it. His next stats are going to be movement 2, attack 4, defense 4, and endurance 8. So movement 2, this is going to be another really low stat, but this guy, Joker, he's not known for being like really quick and running around and being really acrobatic and stuff. So movement 2 kind of lets him down a little because most leaders are going to be movement 3 without acrobat, and movement 3 would really help this guy out, but he is movement 2. So the way to combat him being movement 2 means that you want to have an end goal for him and send him to where he needs to be. He's not going to be able to get out of somewhere really quick, but he's the Joker. He doesn't really need to run away from stuff. So just keep him in mind where he's going and play him that way. His next stats are going to be attack 4 and defense 4, which are pretty awesome stats. Means he's like high-end regular human. So he's not some like trained assassin like Deathstroke or anything like that. So he's not going to have that attack 5, defense 5, any of that stuff. But attack 4 and defense 4 is really, really respectable. He's only going to be blocked on a 4+ with his attack stat. He also can put 4 attack counters into attack, so he can really wallop on people with that baton and put up to 8 stun out on somebody, which is really, really good. That's pretty high damage from a single model. His defense 4 is going to be pretty good. It means that whenever he's targeted, he's only going to get hit 50% of the time. It also means that he can put 4 dice into defense. So if he's surrounded by a ton of guys and needs to defend himself, he can. His last stat that we're going to talk about is going to be his endurance, which is going to be endurance 8. Endurance 8 is really tanky. It means he can take a ton of damage before he goes down. He does have a personal trait which is going to help him out with his endurance that I like absolutely love. It's the reason why I run this Joker more than anybody else. But endurance 8 means he can tank everybody else. So just like I was saying, his stats are exactly the same as like the Killing Joke Joker, the same as Arkham Knight or Arkham City. The one that everybody loves playing with, the one that throws the chatter teeth, same stats as all of those other Jokers. Essentially, what you're going to want to look for is what their weapons are and what their personal traits and special traits are. That's going to be how you play and how you're going to run this character. So let's go ahead and go on to his personal traits. So his first personal trait is going to be Mobster. Mobster is a trait that's normally associated with the Penguin crew. That's what most of their henchmen have. It's really good. So Mobster is whenever this character is fighting another character in base that is suffering numerical superiority, so they're outnumbered in close combat, this character gets an additional attack counter for free, and it can go above his normal stat line. So if he's already got 4 attack and you have some other clown in there fighting and you're fighting Batman, this Joker will get an additional attack. So he'll have 5 attack dice when he swings at Batman, which is super awesome. You get a free counter just for being in there and swinging at people. His next personal trait is going to be the Elite Boss Cosplayers. So the Cosplayers are going to be when you get this character. So he is found in the Suicide Squad box from Night Models. When you buy this guy, he's going to come with a whole crew, essentially. All of those characters in there that are for his crew, they are all cosplayers. So normally, if you don't take the Elite Boss for them, you can only take one cosplayer. But because Jerad Leto Joker has Elite Boss cosplayers, you can take all of the cosplayers without having to take the only one choice. So that means you can take Panda Man and Eyeball Man and the Goat Priest and Mr. Black and Mr. White. They're all pretty solid characters, really fun, really thematic for the Joker crew. His next personal trait is going to be the dreaded Kaos Agent. Tons of people groan when you put down a Joker crew and you brought Joker, and the Joker that you have has Kaos Agent, because Kaos Agent is a solid rule. So Kaos Agent, first of all, it takes away one of your opponent's dice from the initiative bag. So if you're playing a 6-turn game, you put in 3 dice, your opponent puts in 3 dice, and then Kaos Agent takes one of your opponent's dice out. If there's no extra dice added to the bag, instead of the game being a 6-turn game, it is now a 5-turn game. So you shorten up the game so your opponent has less time to get less points. It also affects you because you have less time to get less points. But you know that you're going to have 3 turns to go first, and your opponent only gets 2 turns to go first. So that off the bat, really, really good. You can offset that by making sure to bring a person with Mastermind. So you could bring Hush or Riddler or Calendar Man, any of those guys that have Mastermind, and give that extra counter to the initiative bag. So that means you're going to have 4 dice to your opponent's 2. This is a solid tactic to take. I do it almost every time I take the Joker. The second part to Kaos Agent is the other thing that everybody groans about. So Kaos Agent makes it so all of your henchmen that have affiliate Joker, so they have to be Joker henchmen, they all gain Trickster. And Trickster is the better version of Veteran, which is when you activate the character, they get to rearrange all of their counters. A lot of people end up putting all of their dice into defense and special. I try to stay away from doing that because you can soak up all those, like you get hit a ton of times and you spend all your defense counters, and then you don't have enough counters to be able to really activate and do anything during your turn. So I kind of tend to stay away from doing that and just rearrange the counters if my guy's like out of position or all of a sudden needs to attack somebody. But Trickster on Henchman, really, really solid. His next personal trait is going to be Follow Me. So Follow Me, this is another reason why I really love this Joker. Follow Me is just like Inspire, but instead of spending a special and putting a counter in anywhere on your henchman, you get to spend 1 special, and all of the henchmen within 10 centimeters get an additional movement counter. This movement counter can also go above their maximum. So you can really get your henchmen places because all of a sudden they have a ton of movement counters. I almost always double up with this with Inspire. So all of my henchmen have essentially 4 movement counters turn 1. So the movement turn of the game where everybody needs to get to where they're going, Follow Me really is pretty crucial. It can like make or break the game. I've played some games with other Jokers where my guys like couldn't get really to where they needed to be. And I like the way I play, I really love manipulating the game outside of the game turn. And then I really bank on movement. And Follow Me is something that will totally get you there. I really, really enjoy it. His next personal trait is going to be Psycho. So Psycho, pretty fluffy rule because when you think of the Joker, you think of how crazy he is. Psycho, the rule is going to say that his willpower can never be reduced for any reason outside of damage. So when he takes damage, his willpower will still be reduced. But if he gets discouraged by somebody, or if Scarecrow uses the fear toxin or any of that stuff, anything that would affect willpower and lower it does not affect the Joker because he just doesn't care. Super fluffy, really like that. His next personal trait is going to be Survivor. So this is the trait that I was talking about with his endurance. Survivor is a rule that I absolutely love. There's only a few characters in the entire game that have it, and Jerad Leto Joker is one of them. So what Survivor does is, if Jerad Leto Joker ever takes enough damage to become a casualty, instead of just removing him from the game, you get to roll a dice. On a 5 or a 6, you ignore 1 damage from the damage that he would take, and you knock him down, but he stays alive. So that means if he gets shot by an assault rifle and he only has 8 endurance, so say he gets shot by an assault rifle, gets hit and damaged with all the shots. Normally he would take 9 blood, but he only has 8 endurance, so he would take 8 blood. You would put 8 blood on him, and then you get to roll a dice. On a 5 or 6, you remove 1 blood and then put a knockdown token on him and knock him down where he is, instead of removing him as a casualty. This is solid. 33% chance your character doesn't die, and you do this absolutely every single time he would become a casualty. It's not just the first time. Really solid rule. I've had this save games for me. I really enjoy Survivor. His next personal trait is going to be True Love Harley Quinn. So, of course, Jerad Leto Joker, his depiction is all about his obsession with Harley Quinn, and I really, really like this because it's so much fun to run Jerad Leto Joker with Harley Quinn, with any of the Harley Quinns, really. So what True Love Harley Quinn does is, if Harley Quinn is ever killed, Jerad Leto Joker automatically gets +1 willpower and +1 attack. So his attack goes to 5 and his willpower goes to 9. So all of a sudden he gets super pissed off and super motivated to do stuff. And him being at attack 5 is monstrous. But Harley Quinn going down isn't really normal. So don't bank on it. Don't try to do that, because Harley Quinn is a pretty essential piece. But it's a fun little rule that if she does go down, all of a sudden Jerad Leto Joker gets really pissed off, starts beating the crap out of people. So let's go ahead and move on to his special traits. So his first special trait is going to be Dirty Money. Dirty Money is awesome because the one thing that the Joker crew has been missing up until this model was released is some way to get extra funding for equipment. And Dirty Money is going to give you $300 extra to your pool. So a standard crew is going to be 350 rep with $1,500 funding. With this guy, that turns to $1,800 funding. And that can sometimes make or break you being able to take extra guns, you being able to take extra grapple guns, extra magazines. You can really kit out your crew and fine tune it to the way that you really, really want it. $300 doesn't really sound like a lot, but at the end of the day, that wiggle room is awesome. It essentially makes it so this guy can almost always run 2 assault rifles all the time. Really, really solid. His last special trait is going to be Intimidate, which is going to cost 2 special counters. And it's once per round, the Joker may choose an enemy within line of sight and no further than 20 centimeters away. The target cannot spend special counters and cannot re-roll willpower rolls. Both effects last until the end of the round. So let's go ahead and cover the target cannot spend special counters. That is pretty hardcore. So that means not only can the character not activate any of their special abilities, so somebody can't try to do regen, medics can't try to fix people, people with distract or confusion or any of that stuff. Like, they can't activate that stuff. And then on top of that, they can't do basic things, like they can't run, they can't activate special attacks, so they can't do grab or push or stun or any of that stuff. It's super, super solid for like shutting people down. On top of that, they can't re-roll willpower rolls, which right now there aren't very many abilities that require people to take willpower checks, but the Suicide Squad Harley Quinn has Goad, and Goad causes somebody to try to take a willpower check. So you can combo Jerad Leto Joker with Suicide Squad Harley Quinn, which is super awesome. I'm glad that they've like made that kind of a connection between those two on top of the True Love, which is pretty solid. I really enjoy Intimidate. Shutting down characters, I like really like that. And this guy's like combat-y and brawly, and then he's also inspiring, like a leader, with the follow me, with inspire, and then he has Intimidate to be able to affect characters during the game without having to shoot them or run up and hit them with the baton. Super, super solid. Gives him something to do with his extra willpower counters and really affect the game. I really enjoy that role. So let's go ahead and go on to his reputation cost and funding. So his reputation is going to be 120 reputation, and his funding is $0 because he is a leader. So reputation cost, him being 120 points, he is the highest costing Joker that's like regular human size, because the Titan Joker is more points. So he is more points than Killing Joke Joker and Arkham City. I really enjoy this Joker. The way I see spending the more points is that you essentially get Survivor and you get Intimidate with Dirty Money. That's the reason why he's so many more points than the other two, because Survivor, it is only a 33% chance, but it's a 33% chance you don't die no matter what. And that is awesome. Dirty Money, giving you that extra wiggle room with being able to take multiple assault rifles with ammo. I really, really like that, and the wiggle room for it is awesome. And then Intimidate, being able to shut down characters that have special rules like medics, and making it so like Batman can't bat claw away, try to get away. It means he can help finish off characters. And then on top of that, he is the only Joker that's normal human size that does 2 damage per attack, because he's got the double stun baton. So he is a little expensive. Some people won't like his play style, but if you use him correctly, you use him the way that I've talked about, you use him with the follow me, get your characters to where they need to be with the extra movement counter and inspire, and then later on in the game you start using Intimidate, you shut down characters' special abilities, being able to move in general, because then they're only going to be able to spend movement counters to move instead of a move and a special to run somewhere, so they can't run away. Really, really good. His pink gun is going to be really awesome because he can shoot acrobats with it, and they can still try to dodge but add a negative modifier. Really, really awesome. So let's go ahead and talk about his weaknesses. So weaknesses are going to be his strength 4+, which can sometimes let you down, but overall it's pretty good because he does have attack 4, so he's going to put a ton of attacks out with Mobster. So if you have other characters in there supporting him, which you should, he's going to have 5 attack counters to be able to put damage onto somebody. His other weakness is going to be his movement too, because he doesn't have anything to be able to move farther. He's only ever going to be able to move 2d6 plus 10 or d6 plus 20 on one end or the other, like the d6 before or after the 20 centimeters. So he's not super fast. You've got to have a plan with him at the very beginning, know where you're going to go. Kind of like I send him after my highest point objective. So with him, I'll send him after the ammo. With Henchman, because he has Inspire, he has Follow Me, and your ammo is going to be your most points that you're going to get from an objective. Really, really solid. I actually really enjoy this Joker. Let's go ahead and go on to the paint job I have for this guy. So, Jerad Leto Joker, this was painted by Trash Kicking Studios by Chris. He does amazing work. I really, really like how he's turned out. His skin had to be so hard to paint. Really like the jacket. I like how he's like barefooted. He's got the smile tattoo on his hand. The green hair came out really awesome. His face looks amazing. I really love the detail that's come out on this guy. Really excited to get him on the tabletop with his cosplayers. Just tons of fun. Like I said, the Suicide Squad movie, the Joker, I really like the depiction. The movie was like kind of iffy, but I just love seeing the characters that I love up on the silver screen. Really enjoy that. So how do you guys like playing the Joker? Do you like this one compared to other ones? I will do a panel in the future about Joker just because there are so many depictions of him and there's so many in the game. So look forward to that. And remember, cause bad guys.